Well, that means I should lower... Oh, yeah, there we go. I can lower the music so it's not super loud. That should help. All right. Oh,
this is way better.
Yeah. All right. I gotta... Okay, so let me fix that. Okay, so I lowered...
It's like 20 seconds delayed.
Yeah, but it's working though. All right. Am I still live? Okay. So this looks like that's the one that's working, so let me fix my posts. Fixing the thing. Now maybe it will mess up and some people will come back with me to hang out on the page and do the stuff. No, still dropping 11% over the last 2 minutes. So that's fewer frames dropping than before. It must be because I'm streaming to 2. That must be the issue.
Your audio is also hitting real hard on certain noises.
Oh, it's probably because I don't have a noise. Like I don't have like a filter. Like.
Oh, God.
You told me to mess with it.
Hurt my ears.
I'm sorry I hurt your ears. Change my ingest server. Well, we're trying to fix this, trying to make it better. I haven't got another alert yet, but, you know, that doesn't mean anything. Trying to fix in my things over to Facebook, make sure that the updated links. Updated links, gonna talk about card games when the stream starts to work. Why won't my stream work? We will figure it out in the future. And maybe I'll sing about it. Maybe I won't. You can figure it out. Alright, let me make you. Yeah, so you're working. We'll turn you up. You can handle it, computer. You are getting a lot hotter than you used to get. You don't like streaming to 2 things. I don't think I have a setup that can do that. Well, worth a shot. It was worth a shot. Alright, I'm going to delete these posts. I'm going to delete the videos off of the YouTube. Unless it's working. I mean, if it works, it works, but I just don't know if it actually is working. Alright, well, anyway, I'm just going to do what I set out to do and stop worrying about the things. Worrying about my frame rate. Now I got it kicking. My CPU's doing alright. I'm not dropping frames, so maybe I got it figured out. Anyway, hi guys. It's me, Chan. I kind of just wanted to hang out here for a little bit and talk about card games tonight, and maybe people jump in and we talk to them about games. But maybe it'll just be me, waxing philosophical about the games that I like and the games that I want to play. If you guys don't know, I've been trying to stream on Wednesday nights playing or talking about different dead card games. I'll probably eventually play board games and living card games. Not just like living card games like the FFG thing, but like card games that are still around, still being produced. One of the ones I'm really hip to right now is Flesh and Blood by Legend Story Studios. If you guys aren't familiar with Flesh and Blood, you should definitely check that game out. It's pretty dope. But I also just wanted to like test out my new stream setup, make sure that my transitions work, make sure that my videos work, make sure that all my little things work, so that like if someone wants to ask about information and get like the links or the donation bit. So it looks like some of the stuff works. Like when I get a follower, I think the sounds will play. So I'm excited to see if all that works, and the only way to see if that works is to hang out and go through it. Yeah, as you can see, if you !donate, it'll give you the link to donate to my cause. Right now I'm trying to get some money put together to do an unboxing of a Middle-earth CCG box. The ones that are the most reasonable are the white hand boxes. I can get those from Hills Wholesale, and I'd love to open one of those up and talk about it, maybe even make a Fallen Wizard deck, because people seem to really dig Middle-earth CCG. It's a very cool game. I love that game, but we're getting people that don't have never heard of it before. It's really getting popular right now. My most popular video I have so far is about Middle-earth CCG, and so I kind of figure that's kind of what I want to do, at least get on that one. Hey, we primed the pump. The little donation button worked. Everything seems to go. I should probably put my headphones on so that way I can hear the sounds, but it all seemed to work, which is nice. And now I can hear the music that I'm playing for you guys. Maybe I should just go to my headset and use just my headset audio instead of using the fancy microphone, but I thought that the fancy microphone was going to sound better. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just overcomplicating things. Maybe I can just have my little doobly-doo here instead of having this guy, but we'll test that in the future. Anyway, so I stream on Wednesday nights, and I kind of want to start figuring out some games that I want to play with people. The game play that was most popular is Middle-earth CCG, of the games that I've looked at. And of those videos, the section that was all about playing by myself, solo play, was very popular. So I want to maybe see if there's some other games that have solo options, or maybe even find some games and make solo options for them, because Middle-earth CCG doesn't really come with solo options. People have just developed solo options for that game, and so maybe there are a few other games that we can try to figure that out. Yeah, so one of the games I want to talk about is, let me see if I can get this going, is Anime Mayhem is probably the game that I'm going to work on next, that I want to play through, because it's a game that has a built-in solo mode, a way to play by yourself. It is a game that a lot of people don't know about, but is interesting, and it's a game that I really, really like. It's weird to say it's a game you really would like when you've just collected it. You haven't really got a chance to play it very much, but because it has solo, I have played myself, and it is very cool. So I want to see right now is if Anime Mayhem Online, if it'll work for me to pull up cards just so we can talk about it. If you've never heard of Anime Mayhem is a game from the early to mid 90s, so right in that like Pokemon era boom, maybe a little bit before that, and it focused on anime of the day and mixing them together and letting you play games with all your favorite anime characters, or at least if you're into anime in the late 80s, early 90s, your favorite anime characters. Now me, a huge fan of Ranma 1/2, Ranma Nibinuichi. I'm probably pronouncing that horribly. I've never actually said it out loud, I don't think. Or if I have, it's been been a long time. But it's one of my favorite anime, and so that's really what made me want to pick up the card game for it, because it's just cool to play with those characters. So let me see if I can get some cards from Mayhem up on the page, so that way you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Search database. I know there's Ranma. Just give me all the cards from Ranma. How about that? There we go. All right. Nope. I want girl type. What if I open this? Oop, nope. I want scan. So I need my search to pull over a little bit, if that's how this is going to go. Okay. Card database. We're going to go whoop, whoop, whoop. Yes, I make sound effects. It is just how it's going to go. If you're not into sound effects, you're probably not going to be into my stream, because I'm a sound effect and mofo. Alright, so let's get that locked in a little bit better, a little bit more organized, a little more centered. And then we'll just expand. Yeah. So that way when I open cards talking about this game, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So, Mayhem was really neat just because it's kind of like a lot of the games I find that I'm discovering are like a lot, or games that kind of have a role-playing-esque atmosphere to it. Meaning like there's locations on a board, your characters have stats, you get to choose the characters you play, maybe even you start the game figuring out what characters you want to play, and then going from there. So Mayhem was really cool, not only because it's all these different anime together, but because you put cards on a table and make like a map out of different site cards. So in this game, there's site cards. Let me see if I can. I've got the Ranma stuff open up. So let me see. What's a important one? Let's go to Furinken High. Oh, is there not a scan of that? No, there is a scan. Okay. So we'll pop over here and go to Furinken High. So this is the school that they go to in Ranma. And you will play different cards on the board and make a map. And your characters will move around. One of the weird things in this game, let me see if I can find a picture of that. So Mayhem, the starter boxes actually came with this chit card. If you're a young gamer, if you're like a Zoomer gamer, you may not be familiar with the word chit, because it's a weird word, chit. But essentially it's when you cut something down to little pieces and you get little squares out of it. And so if you bought a box of anime or a starter set of Mayhem, you would get a little card like this, right? That has all the different characters you might play. And so you could cut it along the lines, and you get these little markers, so that way your characters can move around the board using these little chit cards. And that's just wild. I mean, the fact that this game wanted you to cut up a card that came in that starter box so you can move your characters around is neat. It's weird. But also the neat thing is that it served as kind of an advertisement, because in those days, you didn't really have card lists a lot of times, or you'd have to find a magazine to get it. You bought a starter, you got one of these. Suddenly, you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This person's in the game? Oh my god, I didn't know Sammy was in this game. I didn't know. Oh my gosh, I didn't know Ryoko was in this game. Who'd have thought? Oh my god, all the Bubblegum Crisis girls are in this game. Now I gotta buy more packs to get them cards, or them Bubblegum Crisises, or them Dragon Ball boys and girls. Sometimes you gotta get them Dragon Boys, you know? So yeah, like I said, you have locations. Now, when you build your deck, you have your locations that you set out, and if you're playing with your opponent, you would take turns setting them down on the board and building this map. And the game had rules for playing with lots of different players, and it would just get kind of wild, because you just start building a bigger and bigger board, and it looks like this arcane signals inside the rule book. If I had a rule book, I would point it out. I don't think I'd be able to find that with any reasonable amount of time, but yeah. You then put together in your deck a series of hazards or disasters. That's the word. So disasters can be in two different ways. They can be, I guess, four. So there's minor disasters and major disasters. And they can come in two different sections. They can be like a character disaster or just like an event that happens. So an example might be, let's look. So we've got, in Ranma, you could go say, a non-character disaster would be Akane's cooking. If you're familiar with Ranma, she's a horrible cook. It like melts down the metal pot that it's in. It like makes people sick. People go horrible about her cooking. So you might have a non-character disaster comes up. You would also could possibly have let's see, Kudachi Kuno, a character that is not necessarily a major villain character, that can come and cause problems, and they can move around the board just like the characters do. Now you might have major disasters. Now major disasters are going to be much more dangerous characters. So like in this game, the characters we get for Ranma are like, everyone's after me, or it's characters like Haposai. So let me pull Haposai over. Ooh. Will this work? Can I do this? Boom. Yeah. Characters that are more powerful, things that affect the board more. Examples like in DBZ, Vegeta is one of our major disasters, and that's pretty cool. So you mix these major disasters underneath all of your locations, and at the bottom of each of those locations, there are items, and the items are the MacGuffin of this game. You pick a bunch of items, and sometimes the items are like important, and sometimes they're literally just like things, like a 5 yen coin, or Kodachi's dress. Sometimes there are card effects that go along with them, and sometimes there aren't. And the goal of the game would be the first one to collect all your items. And so when you get to a location, you have to essentially dig through the location, fight the disasters in that location until you get to the item. I think you shuffle the disasters, so you don't necessarily know if the item is at the very bottom or somewhere in the top, so it can be a little bit more luck-based there. Let me go back to the locations. So let's go to Jusenkyo, the Cursed Springs. I mean, we probably shouldn't go there. Yeah, we probably shouldn't actually go there, but we're going to pull it up and talk about it. So we got Jusenkyo. The location has traits on it, so blind martial arts and blind luck. So you can only dig as an action to go through this location if your characters have martial arts or blind luck. So luckily, since this is Ranma, a lot of the characters have that fact. So like if you look at I don't know, somebody like Ranma, wow, he's got martial arts, or she's got martial arts. What about Ryoga? Does he have blind luck? Is that something he has got? He does not have blind luck. Who has blind luck? I don't know. Mumu-chan? Has he got that? Mumu? Where are you, Moose? Moose. Moose doesn't have blind... Okay, anyway. Sometimes the game gets weird. But yeah. So, whatever your item has here, you need to have that to open it up. And sometimes it asks for multiples of things. So, one of the Springs locations, I don't think it's one of this one. I think it's a different game. A different anime. Let me see if I can find it. Series. Spring. Well, maybe I should just look at locations. Yeah. So they might ask for different things like multiples of a certain character type, or maybe even looking for specific characters to help dig through it. And sometimes they can just be a little pervy. I mean, because it's anime from the 90s, and anime from the 90s is just a little pervy. So like this one. The swimming pool unlocks if you are of a student and survival or peeping. So you can dig through the swimming pool if you're a creep. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is what anime was like, kids. This is what we're dealing with. And so yeah, you'd play your characters, move around the board, fight disasters. There's other cards as well. So like just looking back at the Ranma stuff, there are different types of power cards that would let you do like fight characters. So like here's some chi. It gives you energy, so that way you can like shoot stuff. There's also cards that do things like give you different power sets, so you can give the character skill, or maybe if they already have the skill, you can get the +1 would give them like 2 times the skill, which is neat. A lot of it is we go back to one of the characters. You fight the different hazards, all the different stats you got. You then also play these weird combat cards. The neat thing about the combat cards is that there's 2 different types of combat in this game. There's charm combat and there's physical combat. Each card would have 2 different sides. So there's like this little beam, like fireball, this would be normal combat, and then there's a little kiss for charm combat. So depending on what kind of combat you're doing, you use different sides of the card. Anyway, it's a neat, unique little game that has a lot of fun, like nostalgia for multiple reasons. Because maybe you haven't played the game before, but you know these characters, and so you're interested in those. It kind of gives you something else you can do. The different anime that were in this game are Armitage the Third, which was a film series, Bubblegum Crisis, Dominion Tank Police, El Hazard, Oh My Goddess, or Amagami-sama, Project Echo, Ranma, Tenchi Muyo, pretty popular. That was on the Toonami back in the day. And DBZ, which was the 3rd set. Although DBZ is a little harder to mix with the other ones. If you're playing some of the like goofier characters, like you're playing Oolong and Bulma, yeah, they mix in with the other characters pretty well, and you can make your deck work. But if you want to play the disasters from DBZ, naturally they're all very much overpowered compared to some of the others. Like, yeah, maybe Ryoko could fight some DBZ characters, but not very many other people can. Like, honestly, who else would? In those other series, I'm sure some El Hazard wizards could probably do some crazy stuff, but DBZ characters are so fast and overpowered that compared to everything else, they don't really match. And this game kind of power creeped them together. Yeah. Because you're playing against another player, you could go to their locations. Like, naturally, you would build your deck with characters that can fight hazards and locations or characters you can dig through. But that means you can go into your opponent's locations and steal their stuff, which is also kind of fun. Which gives it a good layer of complexity so that you can play by yourself or play with another person. And I'm thinking this is one of the games I'm going to play next and try to do solo. Just because I think it could use a little more press, a little more buzz, that people just don't get to know about this game very much. And I think people could dig it. I mean, I dig it, so worth a shot, you know. The other thing that I like is I want to talk about L5R. Let me see. I want a crane holding. Where's the house of the crane? This work? Whoop. Just gotta move it back. Yep. I need to like save the setting for if I'm using the Anime Mayhem site or if I'm using Card Game Geek. Card Game Geek, it's gonna work most of the same way every time, but yeah, still getting everything figured out, but we're getting there. I got really into the original version of L5R this year, and maybe part of last year too. But I think this game is just fun. There's something neat about the original cards. There's just a vibe to them. They just look different. They feel different. The colors is an original painting, and there's just some cool stuff in the original L5R that I just really want to share with people. And I think if you played the new game by FFG, you get the vibe of it. I think if you played the later game, it's probably probably a better game. But there's something about those early games, those early cards, that just... the newer games don't feel the same. And I know that just sounds like some nostalgia junk, but I really do feel that way. Just by looking at cards like this is the holding. It's hard to read. The card just has symbols and stuff all over the place, but when you look at it, you're like, man, there's some design to this. Someone did it on purpose. This was a vision that someone had. And is it a good vision? No. Not totally, but there is definitely a charm to it that I definitely respect. You look at something like this is what the cards look like later when they clean them up. And, I mean, I think that's objectively easier to read, but is it better? I don't think so. I mean, I guess it's a little easier, but, like, it's cleaner, but there's something about this era that just feels, like, artificial? I don't know if that's the right word, but everything just looks layered very, very, like, a little too cleanly. I really like this era. Like, it just looks kind of, like, deliberate and older. And then you look at the new version of the game. So this is like the last version before they closed it, and it's gorgeous. I again also think these are objectively gorgeous. Very easy to read, very clean, very organized. But when you look at that, and then look at this, look at that. No, look at this. Like, these don't look like the same game at all. Like, at least not to me. Like, sure, like, you see that there's numbers and stuff on the text, but, like, that's not the same game. For better or worse. And so while I appreciate these, I definitely fell in love with the game by playing these old ones that I happened to luck out and get a good deal on. And then it just kind of swayed me into wanting to play more of it. And there's a lot of groups, like, the Facebook group is Fortress of the Forgotten. That's some folks over in, I think Southeast Asia is where they're organized. Maybe the Philippines, not entirely certain. But they have been organizing old school games very, very regularly. And I think that's dope, man. I think that more of that needs to happen. But yeah, so things that I want to do is play games of this. Now, this game doesn't have a solo mode. They built a what's the word I'm looking for? Later on there's like a challenge deck that you would play like 2 or 3 people against. I guess if you like toned it down, you could play against it. But there's not really a solo mode. And I wonder if you could build that. And make essentially like... I wonder if you could make a deck that just generates things for you to fight. And you have to defeat that before it defeats you. And if you could figure out some way to autopilot that. I think players have gotten pretty good at the Grim Rule, which is a phrase from the Fantasy Flight's Arkham Horror, the card game. Which is whenever a card asks you to do something, you just have to objectively say, what's the worst thing for me? Like, if I was playing this card against my opponent, what would I do? And be willing to play it that way. And I think that makes a game good. Like, it makes it tougher. And it's not just worrying on, like, dumbing down the AI of whatever system you've built. And so I think it's pretty neat to go through and try to figure out if you can build that for a game. Knowing that since you're wanting to challenge yourself and you're wanting to play a good game, like, can you do it? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's worth a shot to try. All right. While I'm talking about card games, I'm going to try to pull up Tabletop Sim and see if I can get a card game to work. So let me switch over to the tabletop. Oh, and I'm going to switch over to games. There's no game to capture. No. Let me see if I can get this going. Just because this is my test stream for the night, maybe I can get a game up and running and kind of see how it works in tabletop sim. I've not played used tabletop sim a lot. It's definitely a neat tool for people, and I think that it definitely is like of the future kind of thing, especially during quarantine. It's such a nice thing to be able to do. All right, let's see. All right, Steam, quit making a fool of me. I also have the what is the name of that game? The L5R. Excuse me. Sengoku? Definitely Sengoku. Gimpuku? I don't care about you, fandom. If I open up tabletop sim, will my thing just connect to it and be like, yo, we're ready to go. That's what we're doing. It's looking for a game to capture. Are you going to find it? Jigoku. Jigoku. Oh, I think it's called Sun and Moon. Yep. Okay, so tabletop sim pull up. Did it start connecting? Oh, it did!
Just like a loose handful of dice.
What?
Just like a loose handful of dice.
Oh, yeah. Create a single player game. I wonder what games I can get. So these are games I've like installed. I made the Cosplay Deviants game to try that out. I guess Wingspan, you have to pay for Wingspan. That makes sense. These are the built-in ones. Is there like? Does this let me shop? Ooh. Can I sort by free? Is that an option? No. Well, let's see. Well, I guess this. It looks like you have to unlock things or lock things, but. Roar. The captain is dead. Oh, I have Tortuga in real life. That's a fun game. Well, what if I just try clicking on this? What happens with Wingspan? What do you want? You're going to take me to a place where I don't need to buy it? How much is it? Only $8. That's pretty fair. Alright. It's good to know that works. Shift tab. So, let me see if other things work. If I just switch games in the middle of it. So, if I want to close this, so let me... Main menu, yeah. Let me... How do I even exit this thing? Exit game. Yeah, I want to quit. Oh no, now there's no game. Sun and Moon. Will you boot up with Sun and Moon? It's made with Unity. It does automatically grab it. It's a little stretched, but... Oh, that's better. Neat. Play solo. So these are some of the decks I built. It doesn't have the right art. You have to work pretty hard to get the art switched over. But I did start working on it so I could, like... If you've never played L5R, this is Sun and Moon, which is a pretty good custom game for it. Like, it understands things like when you put cards down, it knows that's not a person. Like if I play... Oh, I guess this goes here. If I play a thing, this has to go on him. So, like, it knows to connect. If I put something there, it automatically, like, replaces itself. If I... It knows to realign. So this is a pretty good simulator. And you can connect with other players online to play online, which is cool. You just have to do some work to get the cards right. I think I did that correctly. Oof, no. With my Scorpion. I did all the original art cards. Yeah. See, that's just a better look. Ooh, I got Imperial Gift. So I know. So this I would play. And I go here. And how do I make is it shift? I haven't played this in a while. There's a way to like zoom. Oh, there we go. Right click. Gain 2 honor. Boom. Boom, boom. Because I started with 2. Select any item card from my fate deck. I wonder what I'm going to get. So can I... Oh, if I double click, I want to look at the top 35 cards in my deck. Sure. And I want to get my Ancestral Sword of the Scorpion. That's expensive. Maybe I want... I can't remember what this deck wants. It's been so long since I played it. I think I want the Ancestral Sword. And so I think I click this. Oh, I drag it to the top of the deck. I draw the card, and then I shuffle the deck. So that way I've pulled it out, put it through. See? The future, everybody. Now, this is actually kind of an older one, but people work on this. But they've been working real hard to make this game work. This is not actually a very optimal hand for me, because I can't really do much. I guess I can play her, but I don't... She's not my clan, so I can't play her. And I have enough honor, so I can... Boom. Play her. And that'll... Oh, nope. And that'll be, I guess, it for my turn. I'll untap. Flip, flip. Okay, Jade. Can I get that? Yeah, okay. What more do these cards do? No, they're battle cards. I probably wouldn't be battling. Whoop, don't want to show my opponent my card. Oh, that's going to be hard to do. Okay. Especially with this. Whoops. Anyway. Do I refill in this game? I don't think I refill. I don't remember how many cards you draw. I have to look at the rule books. It's been a while. Keyrin. Anyway, so this is another game I might play. Is just try to play some Lord of the L5R, and I like to figure out. I have to do it in person, but how to do a solo game. Like, what can I simulate from my opponent that would be reasonable? And like, I wonder if you just do like a stack of turn 1 cards, a stack of turn 2 cards, a stack of turn 3 cards, a stack of turn 4 cards, and you just like flop cards little by little. Worth a shot. So there's that. All right. Let me go back to the tabletop, I guess. Of course, Middle Earth. Definitely a game I'm going to play more of. That's just a fun game. People really seem to like the solo play of that, so I'll definitely try that again. I got a few people hanging out when I was playing Fall Guys. I know that the game, if you're on the Twitch, you need to find games that other people aren't playing, and that can be kind of hard to do sometimes. So if there are any games that you guys are interested in, let me know, and I can try to figure that out too. But for now, I think that's going to be it for me. I'm a little tired, so I think I'm going to call it there. It's been about 40 minutes, plus what all we were fighting with before. But my name's Chan. I appreciate you joining me. Streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. Like I said, I try to do live streams on Wednesday, and then I try to cut a couple of upload videos from that, little shorter snippets for on Thursdays and Fridays. And then I just stream occasionally whenever I get the inklings. So that's where we're going right now. But go ahead, if you're here, you can check my bio for all the different links. You can ! Links to get the links to all my links. How many times can I say links in one statement? But anyway, and that'll let you follow me on a bunch of different stuff. And I'll see you guys on the internet. Until